749 at WBAP. Boy, this is a timely conversation we're going to have with Linda McMahon. WrestleMania, of course, was in town last night.
Yes, it was.
Through WWE. She's a former CEO of WWE. She's a former Republican Senate candidate in the state of Connecticut. We can talk to her about the Republican Party. We got Raw in town tonight as far as wrestling is concerned. She's got a huge event happening in May. But the biggest thing is she's an East Carolina Pirate, too. Did you know that?
A Pirate?
Yes. Is it National Pirate Day?
Oh, boy, I tell you what. TCU lost a heartbreaking game.
You remember that back in the day? When
I'll never forget that. Yeah.
Linda McMahon, thanks for the time this morning. We got a lot to get into. Linda, let's...
Good morning.
Hey, this is going to be great. Hey, let's do this because we got a lot to talk about. I want to make sure we talk about Women's Leadership Live, though, that's happening in Las Colinas, May 19 and 22. May 19 through 22. This is something that's near and dear to you that I know is very important, empowering women, right?
Absolutely, it is. I mean, we're so excited about our event. In fact, the name of the event is Prepare to Share Powerful. And we're looking to have women of many different backgrounds, whether they've transitioned out of the workplace to stay home, raise a family, or coming back, whether they're entrepreneurs who want to start a successful business, whether they want to take a product to market. Lots of different areas where we want to help women, give them the tools to be able to do that. And so we'd like for them to, go to the website, womensleadershiplive.com, and register for our event.
Linda, you've done it all. You've raised a family. You've been a CEO. You've run for political office. I mean, you found the time to make it all work. Did you ever run into that glass ceiling that women talk about?
I personally didn't, because Vince and I, my husband and I, built our business from the ground up. So we were always busy, taking the next step, growing the next market, pushing through. So I can't say that I ran into the glass ceiling. What I did run into were perception problems. For instance, one time I went with my chief marketing officer to a big conference, and all the people knew was that the CEO of the company and the chief marketing officer were coming. So we walked in the door. The assumption was that the fellow I was with was the CEO, and they started asking him all the questions. And he said, well, I can answer that, but maybe you want to ask my boss.
Wow.
So it's clearly, still a perception problem.
Yeah. But and put it on a scale of 1 to 5 for me here. How far back are women from men's salaries and men's respect as to running companies? On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 men, you're not very far back at all.
Well, about 3/4 of the way. Women make about 78 cents on the dollar for one that men earn, and that's still the case, even though women are earning more college degrees, especially higher college degrees than men are. And interestingly, there's an article in the New York Times a couple of weeks ago that said that women still get the short end of the dollar, and that women who perform the same jobs as men, it's actually perceived to have less value than the work performed by the man doing the same job. So we've still got a lot of work to do, but I believe that our conference in May at the Omni Mandalay Hotel, that's in Las Colinas in Irving, Texas, is just going to be fantastic, because we have women and workshops that are going to speak to a lot of those issues for women. And coming then out of the event, we have continuing mentorship programs that I think are really going to give women the tools to advance and to empower them.
Linda, give us that website again where folks can register.
womensleadershiplive.com.
Okay.
The name of the event is Prepare to Share Power.
Got it. Linda McMahon's a former CEO of WWE. WrestleMania was in town last night. She ran for political office a couple of times as a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate out of the state of Connecticut. I want to ask you about where the Republicans are right now. A lot of talk about the party and whether or not it can survive a Donald Trump nomination. From your perspective, this presidential race, first, your take on it, and two, whether or not the Republican Party could survive if Donald Trump were the nominee.
Well, I certainly think the Republican Party definitely will survive, regardless of who the nominee is, because I would expect everyone to pull behind our nominee and support him for the presidency. Happens to be him this time because we don't have women that are in the finals because Carly Fiorina did not make the cut for the finals. But look, it's certainly tumultuous out there. I think there have been comments and rhetoric that is way over the top and unbefitting several of our candidates. And Donald is a friend, known him for a long time. I think he has good capability. I think he has the qualifications to be president, but honestly, sometimes I'd like to stick a sock in his mouth. He just goes off. And then I know in things that he doesn't really mean, but he just needs to harness that. And so if Donald's the nominee, then we certainly have a different kind of president, but I think he pushed forward. It isn't to say that, other candidates aren't strong as well. So, but I think the party will come together and support the nominee. At least that would be my hope, and certainly would be what I would work towards.
All right, Linda McMahon, the CEO, the former CEO of WWE. The event happens May 19 through 22 at the Omni Mandalay in Las Colinas. Women's Leadership Live, of course, that organization is going to be putting on the event. It's going to be a big time. Thank you very much for the time, and best of luck with that event happening May 19 through 22.